Sure. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm Aaron Banks. I'm the CAPSA and Entrepreneurship Coordinator for the Missouri After School Network. If we haven't met yet, you can put a face to maybe an email name that you've seen floating around from Mark. But today I'm going to be introducing Scott Mann. He's the Director of Education and Training with Venture Lab. The After School Network has been working with Venture Lab on some entrepreneurship initiatives, and they have come up with a new program pilot for middle schoolers in career exploration and using some of those entrepreneurship mindsets. And so I'm going to let Scott kind of take over, and if you'd like to add some information about him and Venture Lab, I'll let him do that. Otherwise, he can go ahead and get rolling with the program.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. And it's Terry dropping in. Hey, Terry. I like your CAPSA background. Yes, Director of Education with Venture Lab Youth Entrepreneurship. Glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Mason. And we are really excited to bring a pretty specific offering that we're going to talk about today. But getting started, I wanted everyone to, our topic's going to be around career exploration and innovation. If you'll drop in the chat where you're coming in from, I see some Mission St. Louis peeps. I think we worked with some Mission St. Louis through the mini grants that Mason provided. But thinking about what did you want to be when you were younger? If you haven't had that question yet, what did you want to be when you grow up? Yeah, Tyler, with that, your picture with the pull floaty, you look like you have a Power Ranger stance. That's awesome. And what do you currently do, Tyler?
I run before and after school programs for the Clayton School District. So we have 3 elementary programs and then 1 early childhood program. But then I also run a martial arts school. So not too far off from being a Power Ranger.
Yes, you're basically a Power Ranger. That's great. And that's part of the thing that this program that we have, it helps kids validate those early desires and their kind of dreams of what they want to be, but then give them an awareness as they explore different careers of what else is out there and how they can turn that into something. Everybody want to be an artist. Kirby, you wanted to be an anesthesiologist. At what age? Was that like a pretty early desire?
I know at least 7th grade. I know I did all my career exploration on that. I actually toured all my college tours were for like medical school, that kind of thing. And then I ended up went on a tour that was totally out of the blue. My mom signed me up for it, loved it, and went into ag.
Hey, there we go. Well, there's anesthesiology. I grew up at a veterinary clinic. My parents were veterinarians, so that was a very special field within the world of veterinary medicine. All right, Terry, you said you wanted to be a different type of superhero. Any specific powers?
No, I was commenting that Tyler's being an after-school program director is another type of superhero, like a Power Ranger.
You wanted to be a teacher with your own child care center, which
my thought was that if I was a kindergarten teacher, then I would know exactly what those preschoolers need to do, and I would have the best preschool child care center in town.
Nice.
Turned out it wasn't the right age group for me.
That's good to know. Aaron said you wanted to work with wild animals, which if you work with kids, we work with kids. That's kind of in the best way. If you're just coming in, thanks for joining us. We're having just kind of a discussion from the top here of what organization you're with, and then what you wanted to be when you grew up, as you were thinking as a child. I'm just getting my slide deck up here as my computer's lagging, and I'll share screen and we'll hop into it. So in our presentation today, I'm kind of throwing my call to action at the beginning, and we are looking for some Missouri out of school time, in school programs to join our career exploration and innovation pilot that we're doing with the Missouri After School Network. This is a program through VentureLab that we have that at cost that other programs around the nation use and school districts, but we're opening this up for a no cost opportunity to provide this and help your students get into this way of thinking that we'll explore a little bit more later. And Tyler, you mentioned elementary school. This is not an elementary school level program. However, VentureLab does have first and second grade and third through fifth grade youth entrepreneurship programs that, as we talk about entrepreneurial thinking, you're going to get a foundation for, and I'd be happy to follow up with you on that. So VentureLab is the proud technical assistance to youth entrepreneurship to the Mott 50 State After School Network, which is a mouthful, but which brings us here. Thanks to Terry and for the invitation. We've been working with Mason now for a couple of years. They're going to stay around in this youth entrepreneurship work. They will give you some information on some of the things that they've been doing, but it's a pleasure to be here and serve Missouri. We also serve our national and global community with over 500,000 students reached, over 150 countries, which makes for some interesting time zone conversions in all 50 states. I'm just lucky to, and I click on the map every single time. I'm just lucky to keep my my Eastern trainings and sessions straight, much less trying to get to Jordan. Or I was in Cairo where they told me it was very dusty. I was like, it's raining in Austin. I'm like, well, in Cairo, there's a big dust storm. So, hello, Mark Kalsert, welcome. You came in right in my technical glitch. We turned it, don't click on the map. So VentureLab as an organization, we provide various programs that consist of that curriculum and professional development. It includes coaching. We also have our survey and data collection tools where we make the impact and outcome of the programs that you implement available to you. And that is regardless of whether it is a VentureLab entrepreneurship program or another organization. It's a way for you to collect and report your impact. We also have some other mentorship opportunities that we've also worked with Missouri to help youth who have those inspirational ideas take it to the next level, and some very customized mentorship programs. So this big long word, which we could have a spelling test here and try to figure out who can spell it without looking. I'm a phonetic person. So want to kind of open up to our participants here, and you feel free to unmute or in the chat. What does this word entrepreneurship mean to you when you hear it? What do you kind of associate with this word other than hard to spell? Any crickets out there want to jump in the chat? Yeah, thank you, Imani. Innovation and risk. Problem solving. Thank you, Aaron. Resilience. Yeah, when you're stepping into that space of taking a risk, there's a chance things might not work out. So you've got to work toward that resilience. Anybody else out there? Self-starter, that motivator. There's normally an internal spark or a fire within that entrepreneurial spirit that someone has. Yeah, Imani, much more than small business owners. Kirby, thank you. That creativity component, we'll definitely be talking on that. Yeah, y'all's minds are already kind of in that framework. So feel free to keep responding to that. But I think Imani saw my slide deck. It's more than simply starting a business. It is thinking and doing. And at VentureLab, we call those mindsets and skills. Is that basic way that all of us, including you, are entrepreneurs because you have that way of thinking and acting. And I'm going to drop in the chat here those mindsets and skills. And I'd like for you to open that up. And on this one pager, this is the foundational document of VentureLab and our beliefs. And these, at the top there are the mindsets, and the bottom the skills you also see on the slide. And it has the description and the definition on there. But I'd like for you to think as you're reviewing those, being that entrepreneurship is more than a business, as Imani put, in your professional lives, in the work that you're doing, what's one of those mindsets and skills that you've used recently? You can drop that in the chat, or you can unmute and talk with me. Okay, prototyping. Good. So I'm guessing that my not linking. Thank you, Mark. Terry, thank you, Terry. Did we get it? Let's see. All right. Appreciate you. I even checked that link too. So Imani, you started us off with prototyping. Can you tell us a little bit about where prototyping came from? If you're able to unmute.
3D printing.
Yeah, what have you been 3D printing?
Well, I know nobody's going to replicate my idea, so I'll just tell you what it is. It's making what's called a transponder bracelet.
Okay. So it tells the location of the bracelet or another item. They can ping it and find it.
No, it's like a universal key.
Oh, okay.
So this is being recorded. So Amani, as soon as this is all over, you need to go make sure you trademark that or get on the process.
Patent pending. Patent pending.
Patent pending. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go.
That is awesome. You know, to put those ideas out in the universe. That's great. So Imani, you are very intimately knowledgeable of this entrepreneurial process of kind of identifying that need or problem and then working to solve it, and all the careers and all the jobs that you take on while bringing something like that to life. That's awesome. So yeah, Imani's been in the thick of that, pitching, design thinking, prototyping. Anybody else out there on the call have any of those entrepreneurial mindsets that you have practiced? I know in this time I've been using a lot of optimism. As things have gotten hard, I've been really focusing on, I guess, the silver linings as they were, and just to see how those come out in my work. Anybody else want to throw in the chat there?
I think for me, adaptability stands out because especially in the after school space, we've just had to change our operations so many times in the last 2 years that we were kind of entrepreneurial without even realizing it.
Yes, you definitely were. Anybody else out there? Seeing how some of those, maybe you didn't know they were called entrepreneurial mindsets, are coming to the forefront, and seeing how that language can be used. All right, so seeing how these entrepreneurial mindsets now are framed. You, Tyler, with design, curiosity, problem solving, adaptability, empathy. And this is from Department of Ed website, thinking about the career technical education and Perkins, and framing entrepreneurial thinking as employability skills. So where we're getting students to consider and teaching them starting in kinder, and here with our program, we're going to be focusing on middle school as they're looking into that bridge to get into the high school and maybe some more focused career technical education or post-secondary work. These areas that can be difficult to teach. How do you structure these different experiences for kids to think critically and improve communication, some of that technology use? So looking at some of the data that around how youth entrepreneurship programming benefits youth, we've seen some really great numbers around enhanced problem solving, which is, we know what employers are looking for. And then across all of those mindsets that you had a chance to review, have youth having a chance to interact with career exploration and youth entrepreneurship curriculum really benefits that. The same with the skills. A very high rate of respondents of youth that are saying, hey, you know what, I did learn to be more creative. And that response in the chat where business and creativity are mixed together, because employers tell us, and that we can teach these new hires the hard skills they need, but that critical thinking, creativity is much more difficult and not something that we're looking to teach. So we would like for that to occur in their in-school, out-of-school time, which is where you all come in. And that one of the key factors we look for is that courage and confidence around students. We see a high rate of respondents there. And this is also just a lot of fun. Youth are responding that they enjoy their experiences in entrepreneurship. And to see those beautiful smiles on their faces. So specifically, what is this program that we're inviting you to be part of this no-cost pilot here in Missouri? We call it our Venture Lab Career Exploration and Innovation. And I'm going to drop here in the chat two different, let's see, two different pieces. So you can have some samples and put your eyes on it, possibly. I'm gonna have to stop share while I do this. So it comes with, the program comes with our instructor guide and also our, hey, Jason, am I gonna be able to share files? This is something, is that a set?
If you can't, we can find a way to get it to anyone who's in this room. We have all their emails as well too.
Okay. Then also let me, I was going to do a straight file drop, but let me just send a link to everybody and then they'll be able to get it this way. The link will work this time. I'm almost positive.
The last one worked, it just redirected. So I went to the direct one.
All right, try that one right there. What that's going to do is that'll, I was going to give you both files separately. That'll give you a zip folder that you can then open. Should automatically go to your downloads and you can see the instructor guide and the student workbook. There, we have it set up so that it works in person, or you can set it up for remote and hybrid learning if for some reason your programs need to go in or out of remote teaching, because that is a possibility and challenges of what we've been having to face. Share screen again.
I think that link is, at least for me, is redirecting to the mindsets page. I don't know if it's me. Does anybody else having any issues with it?
I clicked the link and it did prompt the download.
Okay. Yeah, if you'll scroll down in your chat and make sure that it's there. Anybody else in the crowd able to get that in your downloads folder?
It for me, it was on the same page as the skill sets, but I had a new folder at the bottom left corner.
Well, we are, thank you, Orlando. We're getting all the challenges today. I'm gonna have to really practice what I'm trying to teach here in that entrepreneurial thinking and embrace failure.
I think
I'm gonna share a screen.
I think Terry's right. Well, my screen was cut off, so at the bottom there is a zip folder that pops up.
Well, I'll share a screen and show you what these files look like. There's the instructor guide here that we have, and then we also have the workbook that students have. You'll notice our one-pager is there, sort of the foundation of what we work on, and then it's a very easy print front and back, and it's a way it's structured so students can have that piece in front of them. The instructor can use the instructor guide to work from. They don't have to have a background in entrepreneurial mindsets or skills. We will be providing a training to give them some orientation on how to best leverage these curriculums, but we write it with non-professional educators in mind, or someone that may not have a whole lot of planning or prep time. They can drop into this document and very quickly have access to activity quick links. Everything is, it's not scripted, it's very straightforward, giving them introductions, key takeaways, material and prep is minimal, and then we give them the instructions and how they use the workbook. And where this piece came from, I'm just going to have my open slide deck here as I'm maybe switching back to the curriculum documents. This is from the American Institute of Research, and they present this kind of continuum that a student from K-12, as they're going into their post-secondary career, and how they move through these different stages. And we have been working on our high school career technical education programs, but realized that the main gap was this need for a bridge of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders to help them get their mind around kind of what they want to be when they grow up. And a way to do that validates that, but also helps them get outside the box, to think creatively, and to practice some of those employability skills at the same time. This also aligns with Missouri's After School Network Accelerator Without Walls in their entrepreneurship initiative. I put some blue boxes here to highlight the overlap where we're looking for that exposure and exploration to the different careers, but also to these mindsets and skills. And then our outcome over here, we're wanting to see those mindsets and skills manifest with career paths post-secondary. We are at CAPSA, after all, in Missouri. So this specific program is almost kind of like a scalpel here, where we're really targeting and focusing on these middle school grades with our career innovation and exploration program, because we see that as part of what you're offering to the youth in a really valuable space to be working in. So this curriculum has its outcomes. We're looking for students to be more creative, envision new career paths, definitely, have realizations, because it is a curriculum and program that takes them on a thinking journey as they're discovering, exploring, and innovating, and gaining employability skills along the way. I'm going to talk about the professional communication that they'll be practicing, and then this idea of networking, where students aren't going to find their job on Indeed, but it's probably going to be their neighbor's aunt or whoever, their teacher's friend, where we all know that that's actually that social capital. So if students can be made aware of that and start to think about it and leverage it, that's where they're going to find their internships and where they might find some interests and opportunities. So we've talked about creativity a couple times. We at Venture Lab, we start with creativity in all of our youth entrepreneurship programming, even those that are career exploration and the innovation piece, because creativity, according to the World Economic Forum, is just bumping up and is more and more important and prevalent. So we want to give explicit instruction and practice in this, because creativity is a skill that you can improve. It's not just some innate ability that you're born with and you can draw or paint or play an instrument. No, it's actually something you can practice and work on. So this is the table of contents here for the curriculum. It's anchored in 12 activities. So you can see here we begin and end in the middle are all explicit moments where the students can practice being creative. So we are going to be creative ourselves, and we're going to practice. I'm going to throw you in breakout rooms. So you don't have to turn on your cameras or your microphones. If you'd like to participate in chat, that's great. Some of the most interactive participants I've ever had were in the chat. So your activity is called Wacky Inventions, and we're going to model this real quick. Let's see, Aaron, you want to jump in and model it with me?
Yep.
He said, yeah.
Yep.
This was not planned, folks. So we'll see. So we're gonna, when you get into your breakout room, you're going to select 2 objects. They have to be from different spaces. So I've got an object here. Aaron, can you grab an object from your area without getting up? Just reach out.
In the camera.
Cool. All right. So we're gonna observe for each object. So what do you have there? What does it do?
This is a coffee cup. Man, my screen keeps black now.
Or-
Coffee cup, you use it to drink from, has a handle.
Okay, who uses it?
I guess thirsty people,
Yeah, people like coffee like us.
right?
What else could you use it for?
Musical instrument,
Okay,
bang on it. You could catch things in it.
good. We could plant things in it.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll stop there. I have a band brush. What does it do? It brushes, and I think I have it for a camera lens. So if you use it, people that need to aim lenses or glass and screens, what else could be used for? It could be used for a fan, painting, just tickling in general.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe the hard end could be used for something. Okay, so now we're going to take these objects and we're going to brainstorm. How can we combine the two objects or the way they function, something about them, to create something completely new? Applying the brainstorming rules, which means there's no wrong ideas, no bad ideas. Whatever we come up with is great. How might we combine these into, then we're going to pitch it to select one of our ideas, and we're going to create a business name and the name of what we create, and then we're going to try to convince someone why they need it in their lives. What do you think, Aaron?
Well, the first thing that struck me was maybe a humane way of capturing spiders and insects, and you just kind of mosey them into the cup and then take them outside and set them free.
So it's this is the broom. So you sweep them in the cup. So we have the spider nabber 5,000.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm Scott, and this is my partner Aaron, and we have the spider nabber 5,000 because spiders get a bad rap, and most people just crush them and step right on them, and bye-bye spider. But with the spider nabber 5,000, you can help those spiders live a longer life and keep your home safe.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Sign me up for 10.
That is your 10. Well, I didn't even give you the price yet, but we're going to make a lot of money off Aaron. Put the instructions there. They are going to follow you into the breakout room. So when you get in there, you can pull up your chat. You'll have 4 of you to a breakout room. Let me just create these real quick. And we're gonna recreate. Let me delete a room. There we go. All right. Well, your room, talk amongst yourselves, grab your objects, and we'll hear your pitch when you get back. Rooms should be open.
How are you doing after this afternoon, guys?
Doing well.
Pretty good. I'm in a room with a lot of other people, so when I'm not talking, I'm just gonna mute myself because there's a lot of background noise.
Okay.
I'm
Not a
sorry.
problem, Gabrielle. So I do understand it as that we are supposed to be picking 2 different objects, not necessarily the 2 that they particularly held up, because I don't think you can come up with a better product than the spider nabber here with those 2 items. Well,
I mean, I have a fun item.
Oh, yeah.
ooh, what is that?
So I got it as a gift. It is like an alligator, but it's supposed to be like a little planter.
I
Okay,
like that. Yeah.
I have a
that is a fascinating planter. Did it come with like a little cacti or something? Because that's what it would look like to me.
No, she just it was one of the ladies in my office they went on vacation in New Orleans, and it was just this. So I gotta find a plant, but right now it's cold here. So I haven't added anything to it yet.
All
I
right.
definitely see something spiky. That's like a spiky succulent.
Yeah, yeah.
So Orlando or Gabrielle, do you have any other items you would want to volunteer here for your ideas?
Unfortunately, my camera's not available. I got sticky notes everywhere. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking around. It's like, let's see here. I have no idea. Stay around my basement office here. I'd say for the sake of creativity, probably the most unusual thing that I will have here is an old school postage scale.
Okay.
Terrible thing on this, but you know, it gives measurement. It goes up to about 4 pounds that it can go up to, just to give you some context, and you know, very small increments of ounces. The reason I have this and use this has to do with the annual survey process, because when folks ask for how many paper surveys they want, it's a lot easier to do it by weight than to actually count them. If you know how many 50 surveys weighs, you can start packaging them up in that number, going by mass instead of individual sheets of paper. It'll get you close.
Smart.
So it should maybe be something
Okay,
like.
so how
what
can
time
we,
in between your
sorry.
virtual meetings to
How can we combine those two items then to make something
to
new?
freshen your breath?
I'm getting a lot. Oh, okay. Well, I feel like this is really good at weighing stuff, and it's kind of what it does. It's got, we have got a beautiful ceramic alligator planter. And a vintage postage scale.
I look forward to hearing what y'all come up with. Keep up the good work.
So I think, so Kirby, you had this background where you got into agriculture, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that we take your idea of it being a planter and we start trying to figure out a tool for measuring agricultural output. So
I like that idea.
we've come up with
It like sends things.
miniature plants and a way to measure the yield on our miniature corn stalks that we're going to genetically modify and grow inside of your alligator planter.
And you use your thing to weigh it.
Yeah, yeah. So what we're going to do is we are not only going to sell these individually, but we are going to hook people into buying more of your alligators, because you got to be able to have an alligator for every control of your GMO miniaturized corn to be growing. So for, you know, the kit will be 1 scale plus alligator and then add-on alligators for every additional variety of corn, miniaturized GMO corn that we want to grow. So we got repeat customers coming back on these alligators.
Oh my goodness. Quality. I just picture like low corn, low grow, you know.
Yeah, a little.
Here.
We're gonna have a legion of alligators and miniature corn stalks of corn, and we're just trying to use this as a tool, or you know, maybe it's little bonsai trees or whatever, to bonsai fruit trees growing miniature oranges.
It can be a whole mini farm.
Yes, but we need to find a way to quantify exactly what those yields are without possibly damaging the tree. So we're gonna weigh the tree or the corn in these beautiful planters that are both functional and decorative, and be able to isolate the exact strains of corn and bonsai orange trees.
I can rock with that.
So we need a catchy name for this mini farm planning instrument.
I'll punt on that.
not.
I'm gonna say, I feel like I spent my creativity on bonsai orange trees.
Yeah, you did good.
I
I
mean,
am.
we'll have alligators all around. We can just call it alligators all around.
There you go. Alligator farm. But I like alligators all around, kind of, but it doesn't describe exactly what it is.
Maybe aggregators.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
Yes.
I like it.
I like that
it.
too.
I tapped into my 2-year-old thinking.
All right,
I like it.
cool.
Yeah.
All right,
They
we got a $1
told you.
million idea. And I feel like we're spawning multiple things out of this. Not are we going to blow up the ceramic alligator industry market, but we are also apparently going to have to invent, miniaturized bonsai fruit and vegetables, and that's going to
Yeah.
also be a whole new realm of agricultural development.
Yeah.
I mean, the little like mini item things, that's a big deal. I mean, they're
It
not
is.
usually edible.
Where
but
do they get those little
really
corns in
popular.
your Chinese carryout?
I don't know.
Little kumquats.
Also, this would be a great thing to have in classrooms because
Yeah.
you know how classrooms are always trying to grow things, but that
And you got to move it. You can't.
you
keep
don't
it
get
outside
it far
for
enough to actually eat the produce.
Welcome back. Let's all give Jason a small round of applause because he remembered to hit record. Yeah.
That
That's-
wasn't me on that one. That must have been Aaron.
Aaron,
No, or
Well-
maybe it auto resumed when we came back. I think it might have paused when we go into breakouts.
okay, well, then kudos for Jason anyway for not taking credit because you.
And thank you, Zoom. That used to be a huge issue. We'd have to like cut out 10 minutes at the middle of our workshops.
Yes, very much so. That's funny. All right, welcome back. We're gonna just a reminder what that share looks like. What brave, courageous group would like to step in and go first? Orlando feels very confident. Orlando, that's you nominating yourself. Go ahead.
Oh, that's totally not how that works. It's your finger on your nose. You can't see me behind the camera. I got my finger on my nose.
Hey
But
man, that's
I wasn't designated as the person to share. So hopefully somebody will chime in behind me.
Well, I will volunteer our group because I was with Orlando. However, Orlando, you are owning the name of this that you came up with.
It's
I'll-
true.
I'll take that.
Okay. All right. So I will share. We've got 2 different products here from 2 different participants. So I'll share the first one. The first is this vintage postage scale that we use for measuring mailings that are going out for annual surveys. And who had that? Kirby, would you please share?
Yep. And then it's like an alligator ceramic planter. And so you can put like flowers and stuff or, whatever you feel like putting inside of it.
All right, and so what we have determined is that we are going to create a kit to develop like desktop agricultural growth, where the kit will include the scale plus 1 alligator, and it is a yield measurement for your varieties of genetically modified miniaturized corn and bonsai orange trees. And the scale is to measure the yield on them without damaging the plants themselves. But we've set ourselves up for increased sales because it only comes with 1 planter. But in order to be testing these various strains, you're going to have a whole collection of these ceramic alligators all over your desk. And the 1 scale to be able to measure those yield without having to actually harvest them. And so you can track the growth of your new strands of GMO corn. And Orlando, would you please share the name of this wonderful product?
Aggregators all around. Agriculture gators, get it? Aggregators. I tried.
Yes, let's give them a big round of applause for the aggregators. Yeah, that's a solid name. Well done.
That was really the best part of this entire thing, because I mean, we're hinging on the idea of the development of a bonsai orange tree. So I mean, I think Orlando's really the most realistic part of this path is the name.
But it was great collaboration. Great collaboration.
Yes, that's awesome. That's what it's about. It's about having that the process of going through and coming up with it. That's wonderful. All right, Imani and yeah, Aaron and Jana.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Imani Maleka. My two co-founders for this venture are Aaron Malone and Jana Keller. And if you want to hold up what we are working with, our invention is called the, I had a brain freeze. It's called the Incognito Beano. Now, we all know that in all these Zoom meetings, people actually can tell if you have bad breath because the screen fogs up. So we wanted to develop something that would help you with this problem. And so what Aaron is holding up is going to be a mini drone. It has a sensor on it to detect your level of bad breathlessness. And so Jana is holding up the Beano, and it's an icebreaker that helps freshen your breath. We're calling it a Beano because it's going to be in the shape of a kidney bean. So when the drone delivers it to you, no one's going to recognize that it's an icebreaker. It's going to look like a virtual signaling vegetarian kidney bean. And that is our product.
Yes, snaps and claps. There it is. That looks like a vegetarian jelly bean, whatever that. Love it. Love it. Love the creativity. There are definitely no wrong or bad ideas. That's why it's called Wacky Inventions, because we want to open up this space. All right, thanks group. Let's go up to Aaron, Cassandra, and Melissa.
All right. So I think Melissa must be away because we didn't hear from her. She's probably got some stuff going on. And Cassandra might also. They're both in their after school programs that are getting ready to get underway. But this is one of the items we started with. And quite honestly, I don't know what it is. Yeah, I found it in a drawer. I think it might go on the back of a cell phone for some reason. It's got suction cups. I don't know. And Sandra had a hair tie. And so the product that we came up with to tie those two together is the Arbalist 5000. And it's basically a slingshot for your phone. And so you shoot your little suction cup off. If you're into Nerf wars with friends and coworkers, you can use it that way, or you could also use it to transport objects to and from your desk. And so you can shoot somebody something from yourself across the room rather than having to get up and walk it over, which we all know is a major problem and hassle.
Well, we definitely don't want our students to get that, because you can imagine what the room would be like. Just bombs going back and forth. Let's give that group a round of claps, alligator snaps. Well done. All right, last crew in breakout room 4. We have Jamie, Terry, and Tyler.
All right, so Terry and I actually had one of the same objects that we both pulled out without knowing, these amazing Mason back scratchers. And then I had this amazing Squishmallow pillow. So together we put them in, and it is the fashion scratcher. So what this is on those cold walks, when you need that extra neck warmth and that comfort, you throw the fashion scratcher on, and hidden behind it is the connected back scratcher that you can easily hide underneath your shirt and underneath your layers. And all you need is a quick twist of the neck and a scratch of the back to get all those itchies and scratchies that you can't reach on those cold winter days. So it keeps your neck warm. It's the latest fashion out of Paris, France, and also the added comfort of the back scratcher.
Fashionable back scratching. Yes. Well done. So thank you all for stepping into that space and bringing your own entrepreneurial thinking. I always say there is no one more entrepreneurial than you all out there in the world of education, working hard every day to make this happen. within that first activity, Wacky Inventions, that we start this career exploration innovation program with, which mindsets and skills did you just use with your group and your working, and then here in this whole group space? Just shout those out at me.
Opportunity seeking.
Yes, definitely found opportunities.
Creativity.
Resourcefulness.
Resourcefulness, creativity,
Collaboration.
lots of collaboration and that teamwork.
Courage.
Yes, to step into the space, very much so.
Pitching and empathy.
Got to be thinking about the people that you were creating for. Tell them about it.
Idea generation.
Lots of idea generation, and when that creativity connects there. So even in just an activity like this and going through all of the different pieces of this Venture Lab curriculum, there's always a connect back to those specific mindsets and skills that you'll be able to draw. Another part of the curriculum that we brought in, and you'll notice in the chat I shared, after each activity, we give the instructor and the students, this is the instructor guide, exactly what that helps break down and have that discussion at the end of the activity. But we also include the public speaking and communication tips. And the tips are very targeted and focused and cover a variety of different things, from just starting tip number 1 is validating the nerves and that courage that you mentioned that is needed. So we hear from a lot of employers and a lot of people coming in that students don't have that, or could grow. It's an area of growth where they can speak more clearly and confidently about themselves and about what they're doing. So we've built that in and made that an explicit part of the instruction. And then the students, here's the Wacky Invention page that they see that helps structure the activity. You see those 4 questions that I put in the chat. And then here is where they're given that same tip that they can practice in the context of each activity. And then the share and the tip changes. We always give an example and a your turn and within our curriculum. So the instructor always knows that they have an example that they can use with the students, and the students will have an example that they can use as a model and a best practice. So rolling back over, after we get through with career exploration, or the creativity and Wacky Inventions, students go through this process of an interest interview, where they're thinking, reflecting, and discussing with each other some of their strengths. It builds more on the communication skills within your program. And then we have them do career discovery and career research. So one of those employability skills was navigating technology and information. So we help youth do some very intentional online searches. We don't just send them to Google and say, find some career information. We take them to the Bureau of Labor Statistics websites, providing key search terms and then links to key areas where they're able to start with what their dream job is and then help them expand and get outside the box of what they want to be when they grow up. So we'll take that YouTube influencer and they can discover the other jobs that are around in that same industry. And then we'll have them explore a different industry that you within your program can help facilitate and guide them towards something that might be a local or regional opportunity, or through the information that we link them to, they can search through different, maybe high-paying jobs if they want to roll through and see different places that interest them. This is what it kind of looks like. This is a group, After School All-Stars Hawaii, and they're across 6 different sites, and all of their middle schools, several hundred middle school kids use this program. They've been using it for over a year now. So we're talking about this pilot with you in Missouri, but the program we've been using and running with success in other after-school programs as well. Kids have a lot of fun and always come out the other side with the innovation part. This is where we bring creativity back in, and we say this isn't your normal career exploration, because we're not just sending them to a website to do some research and write down numbers. We actually have them, through their discovery and research, use an idea generation brainstorming technique called Scamper, where they're going to take those jobs that they find, and combine them, mash them up, change them, use the same creativity that we just used and they'll use in Wacky Inventions to think outside the box and create different types of careers that probably don't exist yet, which I think was y'all's topic this morning. For those of you who were at the opening, there are so many jobs that do not exist, and why can't our kids right now go ahead and invent those, or at least dream of them, and then it be in that space of exploration and awareness where they're primed to be in middle school. So they start to look at those CTE pathways of study, start to look at those college, university, graduation, the areas of study they want to go into, and they'll have a space for that. After they get through there, we switch them through to thinking about networking and have them go through a series of activities of professional writing that we flip it. So instead of having them write a professional email, we have them write the most unprofessional email they can think of, appropriate language. But it's always fun to see what kids come up with hashtags and different phrases with the goal of, and we know that exposing kids to inviting in community partners and people that can come in and speak to different careers. We want them to meet a professional. Now, it might not be the person that could speak to their specific industry or job of interest, but it opens up this space within your implementation to bring those people in, and the students can practice again in another way that professional communication. This program ends with pardon my scroll here, back in creativity for a final presentation, which is an in-depth reflection of their process and journey that they went through as they worked through all the different activities. And then the final project, which is open-ended and allows students to share how they want to learn, or share how they want to pick how they want to share their learning. The Hawaii After School All-Stars actually set up a reverse career fair where the students role played their jobs, and the instructors and the after school staff came looking for employment, and they went to each kid and were asking like, hey, if I work for you, what is it that I do? And they've now structured it like that every semester. It's a great success. Part of being in our Career Exploration Innovation Program, this pilot, we produce a custom schedule. So we know all of you have different needs and different lengths and durations and how often you can see the kids and for how long. So we will work with you individually to help you create what that looks like in your program. So we're at getting down to the bottom 15 minutes here of our training time together. So I wanted to open this space up for your questions and inputs. And if there's any thoughts or wonderings you have or any additional information I can provide, I would love to hear from you. And if you're interested in joining our pilot, or at least finding out information, good question, how does the pilot work? So Imani, we are working on the timeline. Part of that was information from you all, the interested parties. If you're looking to do something soon, as in, hey, I've got some kids and some time in the spring semester we're currently in, I'd like to do something, then we can talk about that. And if it's a summer opportunity you're looking for, or you are like, hey, we're set, but we'd like to try something in the fall. We're really gauging interest right now to see where we can form those cohorts. But the primary opportunity is that this is an at-cost program that we're going to be offering at no cost with the training and support through our work with Missouri After School Network. Does that answer your question, Imani?
I just put my email address and Mark's email address in there. If you are interested, you can email either one, both, and then let us know, and we'll try to facilitate when and how that's going to take place.
Yeah, the onboarding, Imani, it's a pretty straightforward process, and Jana has been through that with one of our other curriculum programs, I Did Pitch, where we meet ahead of the implementation date, discuss kind of the orientation of the curriculum a little more in depth than we did here today, work on that custom schedule, and then have those documents with you, and you're set up and ready to go. So Kirby, you're in McDonald County. What kind of program do you have there?
I'm actually the 4-H person in the county.
Wonderful. We work quite a bit with 4-H. That's good to hear. Okay. We are doing a career. Well, Kirby, we'll have to connect because there's a lot of some 4-H opportunities there as well through some Ohio State and Nebraska. We've been doing some work specifically. So.
Okay, that's it. I was like, I don't know, I'm from Ohio originally. So I'm very familiar with their stuff as well. So that's exciting. Yeah, definitely would love to connect. So I'll send either Aaron or Mark a message. That's what I'm understanding here, correct?
Yeah, we'll go through, and I'm going to drop in mine. If you want to talk just 4-H, we can have a quick connect and see where those offline, see what, if we may know some of the same people.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So
Scott, you only do 4-H?
No, we do not. We serve in school, out of school, community-based organizations. So not just 4-H. We just have some very specific work and partnerships with different 4-H extension universities in other states. What's your program like, Imani?
We teach STEM entrepreneurship. So it's coding, robotics, science fairs, cybersecurity, drones, aviation, and 3D printing.
Very cool. I'm gonna put a link here. So our founder, Dr. Glangchai, almost 10 years that Venture Lab has been around. She started at Venture Lab to bring STEM and arts specifically to life for girls and young women. And that's where her original camps and curriculum activities came from. So a lot of our focus and some of the things we didn't touch on today were the way that entrepreneurship does exactly what you're doing already, Imani, bringing STEM to life. That's great. So we'd be happy to work with you in this pilot, or beyond that, Missouri does have their work with the Youth Entrepreneurship Initiative through the Mott Foundation. So we have other offerings and programs that may be more aligned to currently what you're doing. Specifically, Imani, I'm thinking of the Idea to Pitch program that can help youth go through that ideation process, kind of the design thinking with empathy, and then market research, business model, and pitching.
Yeah, that'll be a great enhancement to what we already do.
Okay. Well, I'd love to get that information to you and make sure that you're connected here with the Mason crew. They have a lot of great stuff going on and a lot of support. They're on the cutting edge of the 50 states that work in the after school network. Missouri's one of the leaders, so y'all are lucky to have them and be a part of it. All right. 10-4, Aaron. So you have any other questions or out there? I know we were actually 15. I can give some time back to you, but I also want to make sure that if you have any specific questions or thoughts I can speak to.
You mentioned the elementary programs, not to take away from this, but are those at a cost, or are those also being piloted as well?
Those are going to be available depending on, those are at cost, but I have scholarships, which is a way of, as a nonprofit education organization and with our collaboration with Missouri After School Network, we want to make access a priority. At the same time, we're also working with our revenue. We do have some no-cost curriculum, Tyler, on our website specifically for 1st and 2nd grade. And for third and fifth, it's called our Topics in Entrepreneurship curriculum. And I will definitely, if you want to shoot me an email, I will send that. I'll just send that curriculum over to you. And then with some information around some of our at-cost programs that you can get at a discount.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else out there with specifics? If you're a kid in the candy store, I've got all the candy. You just have to tell me what kind you want. And if you don't have anything else, then you can use this time to please complete the survey. At the end, be sure to give me the highest of marks. I hope you had are having a great CAPSA. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to join Missouri After School Network. And thank you for joining this session. Really appreciate it. Scott@venturelab.org is my email. Venturelab.org, you can find a lot of information, and there's other ways to contact us. We have lots of no cost and free resources. You can join our email list to have those drop into your inbox. Yes, Cassandra, I definitely will. If you would do me the favor of just emailing me so I can turn that back around, I can send you those links and we can get that going. Yay. Well, thank you, Terry, for the invite. Thank you, Aaron. And Jason, thanks for organizing. Tell Mark to take it easy, get some rest after today.
Well, thank you for being here and sharing this opportunity with us. The middle school curriculum is pretty exciting because it's an area that we know that's the right age to be really being intentional with students about careers, and it's a hard area for us to get kids super excited. So I mean, even just thinking about like the back scratcher and the pillow that Tyler and I were working on, like I can only imagine what my 8th grader would have come up with. So it's a great curriculum. We have a wrap-up session that everyone's invited to. Aaron was just dashing over there. He's got the PowerPoint slides for that one. It's just an opportunity to touch base, get contact information if you need it, to reflect on what we've done throughout the day today. So you're invited to join us there. And we really appreciate Scott's time with us this afternoon and everyone being a part of this session.
And that a link to that wrap-up workshop has been posted in chat as well. So you'll have to scroll up with all the thank yous and such here, but you will find that tiny URL link for the session evaluation. And right above that, you will see the link to the final wrap-up session.